the next tab. Now this is where it gets fun, and this is the important part of building something in Second Life. Let me just delete this and build a new basic, create a new prim here. Let's use square cube here. If you lose focus of your prim and it looks like this, it's grayed out, it's because you have selected something else. Just simply left click your prim and it will come back to the build window. If it doesn't for some reason, just right click and edit. That will also bring up this window if you accidentally close it. The texture tab will let you put a texture on it. Let's see if we can find something. Where are my textures? Here we go. We'll put a building texture on. You have inventory, that's your inventory. You have the local also, at least on Firestorm, that will let you upload a local texture from your computer, which will let you see that texture. No one else will see it until you upload it to Second Life. The inventory will show instantly if I put the texture on like this. You have the option to apply now or apply when you click OK. I'll just apply now. And this will add a texture to, since I selected just the prim, it will texture all sides. If you want to texture only one side, you click select face and then simply left click that face, that side. And now if you change the color, it will change the tint of the prim texture. Let's set that to a darker red. This is like a basic palette you'll see in any software where you pick a color. Let's set it to a darker red, and when you click OK, this will have a reddish color because that's the tint you just picked. You can set the transparency. Now remember, I have just one face selected here, so it will only affect this face. If I set the transparency to, let's see, 40, you can see through this prim. Good for Windows, but you see if I go to the other side, you don't see. So it's a one-way thing. I mean, unless you put the other side to transparency also, you will only be able to see through one side of it. You have the glow option. It will. Let's try to use this face. I'll actually just set the whole prim to glow. You'll make the prim glow. This is useful for making, let's see, some lamps or some light bulbs, or just to make it glow in the dark. You can also set this full bright option, and that will make it, no matter how dark it is, it'll make it, it'll make it brighter. Let's see, we can go up to world and set the sun position to midnight, and you'll see that this prim is just as bright as if it was during the day. Now underneath here you have other options. You have the shininess, which will make the texture shiny. It will add sort of a metallic feel to it. And the bumpiness. The bumpiness is interesting. It will give you several options to change. The texture remains the same, but if you apply the gravel, for instance, it will add a gravel look to the texture. It doesn't actually affect the texture as such, but it will let you put an overlay you can have a checker, you can have, and this is actually a good way to change the feel of a prim you're making or a texture. It will Depending on what you're doing, you can get some really interesting effects with this. Now, down here you have the way the texture repeats over the prim. The horizontal way it will set, so if you set this to 2 for instance, it will add 2 textures on the horizontal, and let's set this to 3. So it tells how many times you want it to repeat. You can align the, I'll just copy this and put it next to the other prim. I'll align it so that I know that it's just next to it. And let's say that we put this to a random value. Now if you select 2 prims with the shift and then click the other prim, like we did when we were linking the prims, you have an option to align the prims. Let's see here. If you set this to planar and then align planar faces, see what happened? It will actually turn the texture fully aligned so that it's over several prims. Very useful if you're trying to make it look, you know, even if you have 2. You see, these are 2 prims. I mean, you don't have, you make it look as if it's seamless over several prims. Can be difficult to do manually, so that's a nice feature. Let's see, you have the rotation, and you have the I'll just set this back to default so that it knows what I'm doing. You can rotate this. Sometimes that's useful. You can set it to a certain value, like 45, to have a exact 45-degree texture. Texture offset. It's also very useful. It will simply move the texture up and down. I'll show you this in a better way if I set these to a bit smaller, and then if you see here, if I move this, it will simply move the texture sideways, and that's how you manually align 2 prims with textures. So let's see, if you wanted these two to align, and when you start out they are like this, you see at the edge here they're not aligned, you can simply use these two, just try to make them align. So that's the way to manually do it. There's one more option up here that I want to show you, and that is when you have linked 2 objects. Let's pick these 2, left click and then shift left click the other one, and then you'll link, or Control L. These 2 options will move as one. If you want to edit one of these objects but not the other one, or the other 30 prims you have linked, if it's a big build, you simply go up here. You have the option to edit linked. This is useful for outfits or anything that has several linked prims in the object. Click edit linked and then left click the object you want to edit. It's important that you also select the object, so edit linked and then click the object. Now anything you do here will affect only that prim. So you see, you can move this and it moves as if it was not linked. You can change the texture, alignment and the repeats, and then when you uncheck the edit linked ones, they are back to being a linked set.